And I've got to ask you about Apple because, of course, I remember you telling me that I think Apple was one of the misunderstood stories ever at one point. And so, what's your take on Apple right now?
I think I'd said that when Apple was around 400 is one of the greatest no-brainers I'd ever seen. And
right,
now it's
right.
only maybe the second or third greatest no-brainer I've ever seen because it's around 550 right now. But yeah, so with Apple, everybody's obsessed with what's Apple's next new hot product going to be. Our margin's going to come down. All this again. I'll say the waves and not the current with Apple. And so what you have with Apple is a company which is among the cheapest companies in the market. It's the most profitable company in the world. It's got the biggest buyback in the history of the world. It trades at a huge discount to the market with returns on equity and capital, which are among the best in the overall market. It's got an impregnable balance sheet. It's got a dividend yield that's pushing 3%, and they'll raise the dividend significantly, we think, in the spring or early summer. So it's one of these things where it's like, what's not to like with this thing if you actually care about valuation.
Right.
Now, if what you care about is the next story and the next item on the tape, and are they going to beat the quarter? Actually, yes, they're probably going to beat the quarter. In fact, we got a little email from like Gazelle, which is where which is a site where you turn in cell phones and things like that to trade them in. Mm-hmm. And they said that they were behind because the trade-ins on Apple products were so high that they were running late. In other words, because the demand for the new Apple products was high, people were trading in their existing Apple products. But I mean, can you think of another company where when they introduced the iPhone 5S, the line out the door at the Regent Street store in London was over a mile long waiting to get that. During that same time in Tokyo, there was a typhoon, and people wouldn't leave the line outside the Apple store. Instead of take them off the streets and put them in the store till the typhoon passed, because they wouldn't leave. So I mean, I think it's an extraordinary. We think it's basically a consumer brand that's masquerading as a technology company. And so while people are focused on things like Nokia's collapse, BlackBerry's collapse, what I think they're not focusing on is this is like Chanel or it's like Hermes or something like that. It's even
kind of a must-have aspirational product.
Yeah, I mean, if Nike can trade at 22 times earnings, it doesn't seem to me odd if Apple could trade at, how about 15 times instead of 11 times? So it's our biggest position. It and Genworth are the two biggest positions in the portfolio.